Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Excuse, my hair's not wet, I promise. I washed it today. It's just this is how it looks. But anyway, hello. I'm Katie, the introverted reader. Welcome back, or welcome if you're here on the channel for the first time. Today's video, we're gonna get a little bit controversial today in our video, and I know you love it when I get controversial. So well, I don't know how controversial this is gonna get, but you see by the title of this video, we're doing the anti-TBR tag. I'm pretty sure I've done the anti-TBR tag before, however long it's been. Either way, I was just like, do you know what? I feel like causing a riot today, so that's what we're doing. So I've got it pulled up here on my laptop. It was originally created by booktuber Nicole and her books. So we shall remember to tag her at the bottom. So yeah, let's just get on with it, and just disclaimer, okay? If I mention your favorite book, if I mention your favorite author, it's not a personal attack against you. It's really just me, a fully grown person, stating their opinion. That's all it is. And if you take offense, that's your problem, not mine. So okay, you don't want to hear, just go, whatever, it's fine. So anyway, the first question. A popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. I think the last time I did this tag, I said Addie LaRue, and I still stand by Addie LaRue, but I am going to go for A Court of Silver Flames by Miss Sarah Janet. I know it's been a while since that book has come out, and I guess House of Sky and Breath as well. Why I know the title for that, I don't know. I keep trying to stay away from her, but she keeps coming back. But yeah, Court of Silver Flames. I mean, I used to be on the ACOTAR train way back when, but then I just fell out of love with it, really, because the last book in that wee trilogy was I mean, it was alright, it was good, but you know, it was whatever. So yeah, Court of Silver Flames. Can't be bothered. 600 pages of smut and then 200 pages of, oh yeah, I forgot there's actually meant to be a plot here. Not interested. So let me see. So yeah, that. A classic book, or an author you have no interest in reading. I do want to read more classics, if I'm being honest, mainly classics written by women. Like I want to read more Jane Austen. I want to read some like of the Bronte sisters. I know my sister has read Charlotte Bronte in the past, but I do want to read more classics, mainly written by women. But I guess maybe off the top of my head, F. Scott Fitzgerald. I mean, I read The Great Gatsby once upon a time. It was just okay, if I'm being honest. I'm not really interested in classics written by men, if you can't really tell, because I think maybe I'll just read Jane Austen and let that be that. So that was a very, very vague answer, but that's just it's my answer, and I'm sticking with it. An author whose books you have no interest in reading. Question 3. Author whose books you've no interest in reading. Sally Rooney. Don't have any interest in reading any of hers. Nothing personal. Just her particular genre of books just are not my cup of tea, lads. They're not. Let's just take a drink. Her style of books are just not what I'm interested in. Robin Hobb. I attempted to read Assassin's Apprentice, but I was just really, really bored. I mean, I love my fantasy, don't get me wrong, but there's just certain types of fantasy that I just can't. Like, it was just, the first book, The Assassin's Apprentice, of that whole thing is the smallest of all the Elderling books, but it took me 5 hours and a day to get through that book, and I don't need that in my life. So let me see. Oh, here. Next question. A problematic author whose books you've no interest in reading. Ooh, oh dear, pat the sweat. Colleen Hoover. Do I even need to say? I don't think I do. But yeah, her definitely. We're just leaving it at that. We'll just leave it at that. You want to know? Go Google it. Next question. An author you have read a couple of books from and have decided their books are not for you. Well, I mentioned Daddy LaRue at the beginning, and I guess just V.E. Schwab. I guess they're like, again, read a few of their books. Their writing's just not for me. Carrie Hope Fletcher is another one. I've nothing against her as a person. I really like her as a person. Like, I support her here on YouTube. I support her on the socials. I saw her in the Addams Family a couple of years ago. She is an amazing singer, actress, like lovely person. I have met her before, and she was very, very friendly and very nice. But it's just her books that I just can't get into. I read two fully, and then I DNF'd another two. And the sad part is she came out with a middle grade book, and I thought that that would maybe change my opinion. But no, ended up DNF in the middle grade one as well. It's just, I don't know what it is about her writing. I just can't get into it. But you know, she is a nice person, and I'll continue to support her in other aspects. But her books aren't for me, I'm afraid. Let me see. A genre you have no interest in, or a genre you tried to get into but couldn't. I mentioned Sally Rooney there. Literary fiction, you know, books that make you sit and think about life. I'm not interested in that at all. I would rather, like, I want to read books about dragons and unicorn riders and, you know, Greek gods and demigods and stuff. Like, I want to have fun when I read. I don't want to spiral into an existential crisis. No, thank you. I'm not into it. um, a book you've bought but will never read. So this can be a book you have unhauled or returned to the library unread. I unhauled a butt ton of books a while ago. Like, when I unhaul hard, okay? But a good portion of that unhaul was manga. Now hear me out. I appreciate manga for what it is. I still do really, really love it. I love reading it. I love reading graphic novels. I love reading comic books. It's not manga in general that I have an issue with reading. It was just that one particular series. I got rid of my issues of Black Butler because I read the first issue of that, and I had no interest. Attack on Titan, I used to be really, really into that. Like, really into that. Like, I loved it. I was reading the manga volumes, I was watching the anime, I was all into it, and I had a great time. Don't get me wrong. Like, I had a wonderful time, you know, as a fan of that. And if you still are, no harm to you. But, you know, I got to a point where I kept buying the volumes of manga, but then I couldn't remember where I got to in the story. And then I was sitting thinking, oh, well, I do. And then a part of me was like, I do want to continue, but I would have to start all over again. And I kept telling myself that. But then after a while, my interest just fizzed out. So I was just like, you know what? There is no point in me keeping these when I know in my heart they're not going to get read or reread or whatever. And I saw a spoiler for what happens at the very, very end. Like, the penultimate, you know, and to be honest, I was a bit disappointed. I'll be honest. I was like, okay, like, really? You know, so, you know, I will probably get back into manga eventually, but as of right now, not on the cards for me. So, I think this is the last one, the next to last one, a series you've no interest in reading, or a series you started and have DNF'd. Let me see. Well, two series come to mind. The first series I started and DNF'd was the Arosha series by Roshani Chokshi. Why is her last name so hard to say? I feel like I'm mispronouncing it, but read the first Arosha, thought it was really good. Read the second one, and it was a blatant copy of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. It was a blatant copy of that book. I'm sitting here thinking, how did Uncle Rick allow her to get away with that? Because it was under his publishing house, you know? And I'm like, this is literally the exact same story of your first Percy Jackson book. I don't. So, yeah. Sadly, we stopped reading Arusha because the second one was, not only was it a carbon copy pretty much of the first Percy Jackson book, but it just wasn't very good in general. So yeah. And the other one, which genuinely hurts my feelings to say, the Blood Grace series by Vela Roth. Now, you know, remember back in January where I read the first one and I was screaming at yous about it. I was screaming at yous about it. Like, I've gone Scottish now for some reason. Oh my god. But yeah, I was screaming at yous about it and I was like, it's so good, it's so cute, it's sweet. You know, it's not really like any other fantasy romance I've read. Like, there's no real angst, there's no real like darkness to it or anything. It's all like light and fluffy, and I have realized I need the dark and angsty in my fantasy romance. I need that little bit of darkness. I need the angst. I need the drama. I need the misunderstandings that could easily be solved with one conversation because it adds to it. Like, I need all of that. Yeah. And I got to book 4 in that series, and book 4 was so bad. Book 4 was so boring, and the way the couple were speaking to each other was just so over the top. And you know, I know that fantasy romance has like a level of cheesiness, and that's fine. I don't mind that. But for the most part, when it, you know, if a couple does start getting a bit cheesy, like I'm like giggling. I'm like, oh, this is so... But like, no, like after a while in what was book 4 called, Blood Sanctuary, like in that one, it all just felt so fake. And yeah, like, yeah, it hurts my feelings talking about that series because I was having such a good time in the beginning and then it just got worse and worse. So yeah, it hurts me to say it. I wish I loved it more. And the final question: a new release you have no interest in reading. I know this came out a while ago. When did Carrie Soto come out? I'm not sure when exactly, whether it was this year or what, but it's Taylor Jenkins Reid's newest release, and I don't have any interest in reading it, mostly because it's about a tennis player, and you know, like, tennis, the sport, is like a focal point of the whole thing. And my mummy loves tennis. She loves Wimbledon. She watched it religiously. But I have no interest in tennis at all. So I don't care. So I shan't be reading that. And that Hunger Games book, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, yeah, it's all about President Snow, and I don't give a shit about President Snow. So yeah. Well, that's it. That's the end of the tag, the questions. So yeah, I hope you guys, sorry, I keep holding my hairband because I was wearing a hairband before I started filming. So yeah, that was the anti-TBR tag. So feel free to answer any of the questions down below. Do you know what? I'll put the question to you. What is a popular book that's out right now that you're just like, nah, man, not for me? What is that for you? Like, I don't care what it is. Drag my favorite author through the mud. I don't care. Just be honest. This is a safe space. Safe space? Safe space. I swear I'm sober today. Anyway, I shall see you guys in my next video, which will be next Tuesday. That might be my last video just for the foreseeable, because I am going away at the end of this month, so I'm not going to be having time to film. So it's today's video and then next week's video, and then I'll be taking a break while I'm away on my holidays. So all my socials are down below as always. My Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the things. Feel free to subscribe if you have not already. I am at 280 subscribers and I would love to get to 300. So if you are new to this channel and you like what you're seeing, please feel free to subscribe. And so yeah, I'll see you guys next week for my next video. So bye.